Hello, welcome back to my YouTube channel. My name is Hannah H. Pango from Zambia, Africa, and I talk about my experience. I talk about life in Zambia. I talk about everything in Zambia. Yeah. So please do subscribe to my channel and hit the notification button so that every time I post a video, you are notified. So today I'm going to be talking about going to a Zambian school, both public and private school. I'm going to talk about my own experience, not anybody's experience, but my own experience. So, the first, the first, the first grade that I went to, I think it was baby class. There's something that we call baby class here. It's some kind of preschool. Yeah, I went there. This is where you go from you go from morning to somewhere 4 in the afternoon, and then you go around 7 in the morning to 4 in the afternoon. So it was fun, but not really as compared to the other public school that I went to. First of all, what I'm gonna say is, being in Zambia and coming from a not well-to-do family, going to school is not easy. Trust me, it's not easy. It's not easy. But you can get there. I know that you can do it. So I was there for about a year. I was there at that school, at a private school, for about a year, and then it was time for me to switch to go to a public school. And then I went to a public school. Life was my experience there was just very amazing. So where I come from a place called, it's in Lusaka. I come from a place called John Ling. You should know that, John Ling. So yeah, I went to this public school called John Ling Primary School, because I come from John Ling, because it was just nearby. Yeah, so in this school, in a class, you have more than 100 kids in one class. This is what I'm saying. It's not easy. It's not easy. You have more than 100, more than 100 kids in one class. And sometimes you can be up to 150 in a class, 120, 130. And then, this is where, when you're late, when you report late for class, you get to sit down on the floor. You have your lessons that day on the floor. But if you report early for class, you get to sit on the desk. They're what we call desks here, and it can accommodate up to maybe 3 or 4 kids at once, even 5. Yeah, now just imagine, on a desk, 4 kids are sitting on the desk, or 5 kids are sitting on the desk, and the teacher doesn't care whether you are sitting well, whether you're comfortable or you're not comfortable. The teacher doesn't care. And when he or she explains, when the teacher explains in front to 100 kids, 120 kids, 130 kids, she doesn't care whether you understand or you don't understand. That's your own problem. If you understand, good for you. If you don't understand, bad for you. As long as she has done her work, she's done her job, and at the end of the day, she's going to receive her monthly salary. That's how it is. And it's not easy. I'm telling you, it's not easy. It's not easy. So the first time that I was taken to grade 1, to the first grade in Joning, we're less than 100. We're about somewhere 80 something in one class by then. And then the teacher would just, when it's your first time in class, our teacher, that's what she used to do. I don't know about others, but I think this wasn't the same for others. But for me, she would get you, she would take you to she'll tell you to make queues, like girls alone and guys alone. She'll take you, if it's your first day, she'll take you to the toilets, and then she's gonna teach you this is where you're supposed to be. If you are a girl, if you are a boy, you're supposed to be here. If you want to use the toilet, she taught us, and then it was time for us to go back to class. It was a very nice experience. And then she, when it's time for stories, when she wants to tell you a story, she's gonna ask you to take off your shoes. That was what we use, what we call a carpet. You go and sit on that carpet, and then she tells you a story. When it's time to read, she's gonna it was just so amazing. But we only had that experience in the first grade 1. We went to grade 2, we didn't have any of that experience. We never had it. Then we went to the second grade, to the second grade. Then we went to the third grade and the fourth grade. So when I was in the fourth grade, and it's not easy. Like I told you, it's not. I'm saying this because I know I've been there. It's not easy. When you go to the fourth grade, you have. This is where now the number increases, like from 100 to 120, 130, and stuff like that. And you have to learn, because there's nothing you can do anyway. There's nothing you can do, yeah. So I went to the fourth grade, my fourth grade. And then my parents decided to switch me again. They decided to say, okay, she needs to go to a different school. So I went to a different school. It was a private school that I went to. And then management decided that they were going to make me drop 1 grade, because I came from a public school. I would be, it's not gonna be easy for me to catch up where my friends are, since things are different. When you go to a public school here in Zambia, you go there like from 7 in the morning up until sometimes 10 in the morning again, or sometimes 12 in the afternoon, or you go from 12 in the afternoon to somewhere 4 in the afternoon. You're not at school the whole day if it's in a public school. No, you're not at school the whole day. But if it's in a private school, you are at school the whole day, from 7 in the morning to 4 in the afternoon. So that's how come they made me drop one grade, and then they took me back to grade 3, to the third grade, and then I was there up until and then at this private school, those desks that we used in that public school where I went to, where it's one desk, you sit there, more than 4 kids or 4. In a private school, we just used to be 2. You're just supposed to sit 2, not more than 2. But in a private school where I came from at that particular time, 5 people, 4 people at the same time. But there, in the private school, it was just 2 only, unless otherwise it can accommodate 3. But he only used that those private schools that we went to that time, it can only accommodate 2, unless otherwise it can. 3 is the least. So but there used to be schools like from those well-to-do families. If it's a public school from well-to-do families, where those people who come from well-to-do families go to, would be different from us, because they come from different places. We come from different places. Us, we come from this place where it has a lot of people, where our community has got a lot of people. But and then those that are well-to-do, those that are coming from well-to-do families, they go to a school. It's a public school, but it has less kids compared to us that were in those schools. So it's not, experiences are not the same. That's why I said I'm talking according to my own experience. And then I did my fourth, and then I did my third. I started from my third grade at that private school where I went to. That was my third school. It was a private school. I did my third grade, fourth, fifth, sixth, and seventh, and then I passed my grade seventh examinations, and it was time for me to go to the eighth grade. So I was taken to a school in Kamwala, Lusaka. That's Lusaka. It's Kamwala area, and it's called Kamwala Basic School. That's where I went. Well, should I say Kamwala Primary School? It was a primary school. I was in my eighth grade. It's very far from where I stay. I think you can get on two buses. You get on a first bus that takes you to town, and then in town you get on another bus that takes you to the school, and it doesn't take you direct to the school. You drop somewhere, and then you start walking. You start walking. That's when you can reach the school. So it was a bit far. Get on two buses, drop, start walking until you get to the school. Yeah, I did my eighth grade, and I did my ninth grade, and then it was time for me to go to my 10th grade to do my 10th, my 11th, and my 12th grade for me to be over and done with. So I went to Long Acres at a school called Lusaka Secondary School, GRZ. I don't want to forget the GRZ. That's the best school anyways. But I think by now it's only a boys' school. It used to be a boys' school before I went there, and then they changed it to have both girls and boys when I went there. But after I left again, they changed it back to a boys' school. So it's now a boys' school. Yeah. So okay. Yeah. So I went there. I did my 10th grade, 11th, and 12th. So when I was in my 11th grade, I think I was chosen as a class monitress. And then I was supposed to be, when you're chosen as a class monitress at that school, automatically you have to be a prefect. You're supposed to go for interviews, and you become a prefect. So the time that they were having interviews, I wasn't in school. I wasn't feeling well, so I was at home. I stayed home like for 3 days away from school, and then that was the time that they had the interviews. That was the time that the interview was conducted. I wasn't there. So the time that I went back to school, everybody in school was telling me, my classmates were telling me, you say you were not here, your friends were interviewed and now they've become prefects. But then when I went to talk to my class teacher and explain to her what had happened, and then she said, there's nothing I can do, you didn't come. So, but the least she could do was she got me. No, I used to have a badge, because at that particular school, when you are a monitress, you're given a badge, a blue badge that you have to put here, just a small one that you have to put there to show that you are a monitress. And then if you are a prefect, you put on a red badge to show that you are a prefect. A prefect is someone that controls the federal, should I say, more of a captain. I don't know what to say. I don't know how to put it, but more of a captain. I think I should do some research, because I can only understand. I only understand it. I don't know how to explain it. Yeah. So my job was to take note of those that are making noise during class, and to make sure that whenever we were given an assignment, an exercise, a test, I got those books, those papers, take them to our class teacher for her to mark. And then when she's done, she's gonna call me to get them and bring them back and distribute. Just give each one their papers, and then that was my job. Now when you become a prefect, you're supposed to stand on the gate and take note of who comes late, so that you can ask them to clean. You give them like jobs like to clean the environment, the school environment. You just tell them, pick up that paper, then go to class, do this, do that. And then you're a prefect as well, you do some what we call inspections. You inspect classes, like you go from class to class, you go to this class, you inspect who has a phone in class, who came with a phone in school, who came with what is not allowed, and then you have to get those things. You confiscate those things and then take them to management. So these are the two jobs that I was supposed to do, but then I ended up doing one because I did not attend the interview for becoming a prefect. So then I was done with high school, and then I did something else in college, my tertiary level. So I'm telling you this again, in Zambia, if you're going to a public school, you have to pay, starting from the 8th grade to tertiary level. But if you are coming from if you are in a private school, you have to pay for everything, starting from the 1st grade to the last, which is the 12th grade, until tertiary. You have to pay. There are public schools and private schools. So I'm sure I've told you the difference about that. When you're in Zambia, you pay for everything when you are in a private school, starting from the 1st grade to the last grade. But if you are in a public school, you pay only when you reach your 8th grade to the last grade. Now that's what it is. So this is what I'm saying. It's not easy. It's not easy for you to be in Zambia and complete and do what. It's not easy. It's not easy. So I've just been I've talked about my own experience being in school. Of course, I didn't get into detail of my experience because at some point it was just not easy for me. I couldn't take it anymore, and I felt like, no, I don't want to go to school anymore because it wasn't easy. But this is what I've talked about. So if you have some questions on what you think I should talk about being in Zambia, then you can just write them in the comment section below, and then I'm going to be able to make a video out of it in my next vlog, in my next video. So if you want me to talk about just anything that you want me to talk about being in Zambia, I'm not talking about something outside Zambia. No. I'm talking about everything inside Zambia. So if you want me to talk about something inside Zambia, then you can comment it in the comment section so that I can get to talk about it in my next vlog. So please do subscribe to my YouTube channel and hit the notification button so that every time when I post a new video, you're going to be notified. If you want me to talk about something that you would love to know about Zambia, please just comment it in the comment section below, and I'm going to be able to talk about that. I'm going to be able to talk about that. So this is it from me. I don't know how to put this. So this is it from me, and I think I should say my goodbyes. Please do subscribe to my YouTube channel and hit the notification button so that you can get notified whenever I post a new video. I know that this is different, totally different from what you see on YouTube, social media and everything, but I'm talking about me being in Zambia. This is my experience. This is what I talk about. So if you want to hear more, if you want to know more, if you want to learn more, please just do subscribe and you're going to have more. And if you want me to talk about certain things that you feel I should talk about, please feel free to tell me and I'll be more than glad.